You're listening to Indiana Originals Radio, leading local living.
I'm going back to Indiana now.
Welcome back to the first day on 93 WIBC. It is Terry Stacy. Glad you're here with us this morning. And that includes my good friend Mel McMahon from IndianaOriginals.com. Hello, Mel.
Good morning, Terry. Thanks for having me again.
I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that we can get back to it, meeting some Indiana Originals. IndianaOriginals.com, if you don't know, well, Mel, tell them.
It is an online directory and an app full of local Indiana-based businesses. So Indiana Originals is trying to create healthier, stronger communities and add more jobs to Indiana by promoting a local preference and facilitating the greater use of local businesses. And so by telling you about great local businesses every week or letting you know about what's going on in your community, we're accomplishing that. So I'm really excited about our guest today.
Yeah, this is cool. From the city of Lawrence. I mean, a big title, big guy. Really. It's important.
Cameron Starnes, Director of Economic Development for the City of Lawrence. Thank you for joining us this morning.
We call him Cam Cam.
Yeah, oh, boy. I'm very glad to be here. I did hope that.
He said, not even my mom calls me Cam Cam. Don't do it. So
And you
anyway, that was the last time I'll do it, I swear.
I'm glad to be here nonetheless. Thank you.
Well, Cam, we brought you on today. Our connection is part of the Indiana Originals Expo and Marketplace that's taking place in Lawrence at the Starrett Center on Sunday. And we were introduced to each other through kind of this idea of taking the expo to Lawrence. What was appealing about that for you?
We're thrilled to host it, Mel. I think that it dovetails very well with what I see as our sort of cornerstone economic development strategy, which is really to facilitate a community and a culture where the local businesses in Lawrence and good Indiana Originals that we have feel like they are in a place where they can grow and really thrive. And that's, I think important on a lot of levels. We see economic development in the even statewide being something that's very dependent on quality of place. And I think that a lot of when we look at some of the great Indiana businesses we have around here, a lot of those businesses are very instrumental in creating that sense of place. And so, again, that's something we feel is very important and made us excited to host the expo and highlight some of those businesses, both from Lawrence and then the state as a whole.
And Lawrence has a really rich history.
Oh, I love Lawrence.
There's a lot going on right now,
I do.
and there's a lot going on in the future, too. Tell us just about some of the improvements that you've seen since you came on board with the city of Lawrence.
I have, and it's been a short time. I've really been with Lawrence only since late February, but already we see certainly Fort Bend is such a great story.
Oh, yeah.
And
those wonderful houses and that are around it, and still to this day are still there.
Still there,
Yeah.
and they're beautiful. And we have a state park there that's part of the rebirth of the fort into a good sort of central district for Lawrence and a real community and cultural amenity. That's a draw. No other town in Marion County has a state park. I mean, that's
it's
a
fabulous.
Good
It really
place
is.
of repose, I think.
Oh,
Absolutely
we
beautiful.
fish there all summer long. We
Good.
fish at Lawrence and at the state park. We do. We love that area. There's some cool hidden gems that a lot of people don't know about within that park. You just have to explore, and you can do it on horseback. You can do it walking and hiking and
On a mountain bike,
I
yeah,
know.
it's a great thing to have. Also, I mean, another hidden gem I think in the grand scheme of the fort in Lawrence is we now have there's a theater on the fort property that had been used by the military for entertainment of officers and soldiers stationed there, et cetera, that now is the city actually owns the property and leases it to a group called Partnerships for Lawrence, and they've been working very hard over the last year or less to really program and activate that space, and they've had some exciting musical acts and some youth theater festival, and they had youth art camps through the summer, and that's just something that I think adds another layer of sort of destination and uniqueness to the Fort area and to Lawrence as a whole.
And it's a beautiful facility, and it's kind of trapped in time.
It's adorable. Yeah.
I mean, it's a time warp, and we're really excited that Theater at the Fort is the benefactor for, or the beneficiary for, Indiana Originals Expo and Marketplace. So $1 of every ticket sold will be
Yay.
going to Theater at the Fort. And if you come to the expo, you'll be able to do a walkthrough of Theater at the Fort and see the facility. It's absolutely adorable. Terry, if you haven't been there.
I have. That is one gem I have not experienced. The Garrison, yes.
Oh, sure.
Been to
Sunday
that
brunch
many,
at
many
the
times.
Garrison, yes, but not the theater within the park.
It's not in the park. It's within the historic fort area.
Okay.
It's down not far from those beautiful houses on the big parade grounds.
Okay.
It's on Otis Avenue, and I'm glad that we could find a way to the expo will be right next door at the Starrett Center, which is a sort of an event space and community center that the city owns. But you'll be able to just easily sort of float between the two and go into the theater as well. So it'd be great if you come out to the expo. It's a great time to see the theater too.
We're really excited to promote that. And something I wanted to ask you about, the IU Public Policy Institute, Thriving Communities, Thriving State. They're highlighting the needs to combat this negative migration out of Indiana. What is Lawrence doing to kind of work with them for that?
Yeah, it's a really important study to take note of. Certainly, for somebody in my position, as we're looking at the numbers indicate that the state of Indiana as a whole loses people year over year, which means that we're not doing a great job of retaining the smart and talented people that we have here, and that's a shame. Now, fortunately, the numbers that we track in Lawrence are all trending up. Our population is increasing, educational enrollment's increasing, educational attainment is increasing, and assessed value is on the rise, which is all good. But I think, as a piece of the broader state, we need to do our part to make sure that we're highlighting and really emphasizing some things that could turn that tide for the state as a whole. And the recommendations from that study by the IU Public Policy Institute really focused on education and on placemaking, and we're fortunate in Lawrence to have a really strong metropolitan school district already, and I think we're looking at any way and every way we can to partner as the city of Lawrence more effectively with the school corporation, so that we're helping each other and promoting each other, and I think that will be something we look to do more and more in the future. And then secondly, placemaking, that I think again ties in very well to Indiana Originals and the Expo, and unique places like the Fort and the State Park, and the terrain in Lawrence is unique to Indianapolis area too. The Fall Creek Valley runs right through there, and so you drive into Lawrence and you think, where are these hills coming from? And there are a lot of trees, and we think that's something that we're proud of and that sets Lawrence apart. So again, as we look at quality of place and what can be attractive to new talent, but also retaining talent and investment and great people, then those are things that we'll focus on.
Well, and something I find really interesting too is how you're focusing on younger people. You have an amazing career center there in Lawrence with a restaurant. I have meetings there. The food is affordable. The service is fantastic. I mean, you got
a brewery over there. You've got,
I mean, you have new pizza places going. Like, you have opportunities and businesses that the kids that are in your career center can stay in Lawrence and just really take advantage of and really build a career there. And I think that's really important to kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah, and stay there, because there's nightlife, there's fun things to do all the time there.
Yeah. And again, I think a lot of the partnerships for Lawrence, their focus is on youth engagement and involvement around the arts. I think that's going to be positive. And one of the things that I will be working with the school corporation to do is put together a advisory group made up of students from Lawrence Township schools, to just make sure that I'm keeping their interests and things in mind as we look to what we're going to fund and focus on from an economic development standpoint. So I look forward to that.
It's really exciting, and I've been hearing a lot about Lawrence, and I know we were honored when you guys asked to host our next event, and we're just really excited. I mean, we cannot fit any more vendors in the Starrett Center. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we will have food and wine and beer and just a great time. Lots of great artists are going to be there, great local businesses, showcasing that it's easy to support local if you know where to look. And we are just so excited to have our next event in Lawrence. So thank you so much for having us.
No, thank you. We're so happy to host again. Yeah, we look forward to the event itself and to the vendors and a good partnership with Indiana Originals.
Yeah, and a lot more in the future, too. So if you want more information, IndianaOriginals.com has all the information about the event, or you can also find it on Facebook or on the Indiana Originals app made possible by Financial Center.
Thank you. Thanks, Mel McMahon. We will talk to you soon. You're listening to 93 WIBC.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Originals Radio. Check us out at 93 WIBC Sunday mornings at 10:45.
I'm going back to Indiana.
And visit IndianaOriginals.com to find local businesses near you. Indiana Originals, leading local living.